Okay, we're going to solve a percent mixture problem using a linear equation. So let's read the problem first. It says Ravi invested his savings in two investment funds. The $6,000 that he invested in Fund A returned a 7% profit. The amount that he invested in Fund B returned a 2% profit. How much did he invest in Fund B if both funds together returned a 5% profit? Now, as you can see on the bottom here, I've formulated a table. Fund A, Fund B, total, amount invested in the first column, profit percent in the third column actually, and profit amount in the last column. Now, there's some pieces of information that we are told and some things that we are not. We are told that he invested $6,000 in Fund A. So let's go ahead and fill in that $6,000. We do not know how much he invested in Fund B, so since we don't know what it is, we're going to call that X. The profit percent from Fund A, it told us, was 7%. We're going to change that into a decimal, so we're going to write it as 0.07. The profit return from Fund B was 2%. We're also going to write that as a decimal as 0.02. And it said the profit from percent from the funds returned together is 5%. So what we're going to actually do is write that as 0.05. That's going to go here in the total because that's the funds total together. Now, if he invested $6,000 in Fund A and X $1,000 in Fund B, the total would be 6,000 plus X. Now we're going to fill in the last column. In order to fill in the last column, what we're going to do is actually multiply. To find the profit amount, we're going to multiply the profit percent by the amount invested. So let's go ahead and do that. For the Fund A, it would be 0.07 times 6,000, and we're not going to figure out what that is just yet. For Fund B, it's going to be 0.02 times X. And for the total of both of them together, it is going to be 0.05 times the amount invested total, 6,000 plus X. In order to solve this equation, what we are going to do is add up these first two rows and equate it to this row on the bottom. So this is what we're going to write: 0.07 times 6,000 plus 0.02 times X equals the total, which is 0.05 times 6,000 plus X. All right, next up we're going to multiply and combine like terms where we can. So first up we have 0.07 times 6,000, and we're going to use our calculator, of course, where we can. So let's bring that up here. So 0.07 times 6,000, which should get us 420. All right, let's write that down. So 420, and as we go along, let's cross out the things that we do, plus 0.02 times X is just going to be 0.02X. On the right side, we're going to be distributing that number that is outside the parentheses. So the 0.05 is going to be distributed to the 6,000 and to the X. So 0.05 times 6,000, we can plug that into the calculator. 0.05 times 6,000, that should get us 300. All right, let's write that in. Plus 0.05 times x is just 0.05x. Now, we're left with an equation where we have numbers and variables on both sides of the equation. What we'd like to do is get one side with nothing but variables, other side with nothing but equations. So let's go ahead and move all the variables to the left and move all the numbers to the right. In order to do that, to move the numbers to the right, we're going to subtract 420 from both sides. And to move the variables, in terms of the variables to the left, we're going to subtract 0.05x from both sides of the equation. On the left side, positive 420 minus 420 simply becomes 0. 0.02x minus 0.05x becomes negative 0.03x. On the right side, 0.05x minus 0.05x becomes 0. 300 minus 420 is negative 120. Next up, what we have to do is isolate the x, and in order to isolate the x, we're going to divide both sides of the equation by negative 0.03. All right, negative 0.03 divided by negative 0.03 becomes a positive 1, and we're left with positive 1x. Let's go back to our calculator here. Negative 120 divided by negative 0.03 should get us a positive 4,000. And what this tells us is that Ravi invested $4,000 in Fund B, and at a 2% profit of Fund B and a 7% profit of Fund A, he got a 5% profit from both funds together.